What happens to your prostate if you masturbate daily? Uncover the science-backed changes. Have you ever found yourself wondering if your daily habits, especially the ones you rarely talk about, could actually be helping or hurting your health? Maybe you've asked yourself something like, is it still normal to have these urges? Or, could this actually be good for me? You're not alone. These thoughts are more common than you might think, especially for men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. Let's be honest, there's a lot of confusion and even embarrassment around topics like sexual health, particularly when it comes to masturbation. Society often paints it as something reserved for the young, something we're supposed to grow out of. But here's the thing. Our bodies don't just stop working because we turn 60. In fact, understanding how things like regular sexual activity, including masturbation, impact our bodies, especially our prostate, becomes even more important as we age. Today, we're diving into something most people aren't comfortable talking about, but absolutely should be. What actually happens to your prostate when you masturbate every day? And before you get nervous, don't worry. This won't be a medical lecture. We're having a real, honest, and even uplifting conversation. One that's meant to inform you, empower you, and maybe even surprise you. So, let's get into it. First, a quick refresher. The prostate is a small gland that's part of the male reproductive system. It sits just below the bladder and surrounds part of the urethra, the tube that carries urine and semen out of the body. As men age, the prostate tends to grow, and that can cause problems. You may have noticed symptoms like slower urination, getting up several times a night, or feeling like you're never quite done. These can be signs of something called benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, basically an enlarged prostate that's not cancerous but still a nuisance. Now here's where things get interesting. One of the most natural and overlooked ways to support your prostate health is through ejaculation, and yes, that includes masturbation. Studies have shown that men who ejaculate frequently, around 21 times a month or more, actually have a lower risk of developing prostate cancer. Surprising, isn't it? Something as simple, private, and natural as masturbation could be playing a protective role in your body. But how does that work? Well, imagine your prostate is like a sponge. Over time, fluids and old cells can build up. If those fluids don't get released regularly, they can stagnate. Think of it like standing water. It becomes a place where unwanted things can grow. Regular ejaculation helps flush out those old fluids, keeping the system clean and reducing the chances for inflammation or abnormal cell growth. It's almost like giving your prostate a mini detox. Beyond that, daily masturbation helps keep the pelvic floor muscles active. These are the same muscles that support bladder control and even sexual function. When you stimulate yourself and reach orgasm, those muscles contract and release, like a little workout for your lower body. Just like walking keeps your legs strong, regular sexual activity can help keep your internal muscles in good shape too. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. What about testosterone? Doesn't too much sexual activity drain your energy or lower your hormone levels? That's another common myth. The truth is, sexual activity doesn't lower your testosterone. In fact, it may actually help stabilize it. After orgasm, your body releases a wave of feel-good hormones like dopamine and oxytocin, which can reduce stress, help you sleep better, and even improve mood. That's right. Something as simple as touching yourself might just help with those restless nights or that grumpy morning fog. There's also an emotional side to all this. As we get older, relationships may change. Some of us lose our partners. Others experience health issues that make intimacy with a partner more difficult. Masturbation can be a safe, private way to stay connected to your own body. It helps remind you that you're still you, still capable of pleasure, still vibrant, still alive. And there's absolutely no shame in that. In fact, it's something to celebrate. Taking care of yourself in this way isn't selfish, strange, or juvenile. It's healthy, it's honest, and it's completely normal. Now, it's important to note that, like anything, balance is key. If masturbation becomes compulsive, interferes with daily life, or is used to avoid emotional pain, that's something worth talking to someone about. But in the context of general health and self-care, there's nothing wrong, and a lot that's right, about keeping up a daily habit that brings relief, comfort, and genuine physical benefits. So, where does that leave us? We've covered how daily masturbation might reduce your risk of prostate issues like BPH and even prostate cancer, how it supports healthy hormone balance, and how it gives your pelvic muscles a gentle but important workout. We've also talked about the emotional wellness that comes from staying in touch with your own body, especially when life brings changes you didn't expect. And yes, I hear you. You might still have questions. Maybe you're wondering how much is too much, or whether there's a right way to do it that brings more benefits. Or maybe you're curious about how to talk about this with your doctor, or what to do if you're not currently experiencing desire the way you used to. These are important topics, and we'll explore them more deeply as we go. But for now, if you've ever worried that this daily habit might be something to hide or be ashamed of, I want you to know it's not. It's a form of self-care that deserves respect, not ridicule. Your body is still working, still feeling, still thriving, and that's something worth honoring. Let's keep the conversation going. And speaking of honoring your body, one of the most powerful things we can do as we age is stay curious about it. The truth is, our bodies change. What felt automatic at 25 might now take a little more attention and care at 65 or 70, and that's completely okay. In fact, it's a good thing. Because being more mindful, more aware, and more intentional often leads to deeper, more satisfying experiences. Not just sexually, but in every part of life. Now, let's talk about circulation. Good blood flow is essential for overall health, and it becomes especially important as we age. You may already know that poor circulation can affect your heart, your legs, even your brain. But it also plays a big role in prostate and sexual health. Regular sexual activity, including masturbation, increases blood flow to the pelvic region. This helps nourish the tissues, keeps nerves responsive, and even supports erectile function. Think of it like watering a garden. If the soil gets dry and cracked, nothing flourishes. But when there's steady hydration, when the roots are cared for, everything grows stronger. Masturbation isn't just about release. It's also a way of keeping the systems that support intimacy well-oiled and running smoothly. It's your way of saying, hey, I'm still here, I still matter, and I'm still going to take care of myself. But that's not all. Daily ejaculation may also help reduce inflammation in the prostate. That's right. This simple act could actually calm down some of the low-level irritation that causes discomfort, urgency, or that dreaded stop-and-start feeling during urination. Some researchers believe that regular ejaculation helps clear out inflammatory substances, making it easier for the prostate to do its job without interference. It's like cleaning out a drain. You don't want things to build up until they clog the whole system. And let's not forget stress. At this stage in life, many people assume that retirement or an empty nest means less pressure. But for many men, that's not the case. You might be caring for a spouse, navigating medical concerns, or feeling the emotional weight of losing friends, changing roles, or even just coping with loneliness. Stress doesn't disappear with age, it just wears a different face. And it can take a serious toll on your body, especially your hormone levels. That's where regular pleasure can be surprisingly powerful. Masturbation leads to the release of endorphins, your body's natural feel-good chemicals. These help lower cortisol, the stress hormone that, when left unchecked, can damage everything from your heart to your immune system. That post-orgasm calm? It's not just in your head. It's your body's way of hitting the reset button, bringing things back into balance. And here's something else that might surprise you. The benefits of regular sexual activity aren't limited to your physical health. There's a growing body of research showing that older adults who stay sexually active tend to report higher levels of life satisfaction. They feel more confident, more emotionally connected, and more in tune with themselves. It's not just about sex. It's about staying engaged with life, feeling a sense of vitality, and continuing to connect with joy. You see, so often we're told that aging is all about decline, that everything slows down, wears out, or breaks down. But that's only one part of the story. The other part, the part we don't hear enough about, is how much is still working. How much life is still available to us if we choose to stay open to it. Masturbation may seem like a small thing, but it's actually a reflection of a much bigger idea, that you are still deserving of pleasure, health, and well-being, no matter your age. Now, some men worry about whether masturbating too much could desensitize them or make it harder to perform with a partner. And while overdoing anything can have its downsides, daily masturbation is generally not harmful unless it's interfering with your daily responsibilities, relationships, or emotional well-being. In fact, being in tune with your body often helps you become more aware of what feels good, what doesn't, and how to communicate those needs, whether you're alone or with someone else. This awareness becomes especially valuable if you're experiencing changes in libido, which is totally normal with aging. Some days you may feel more interested, some days less. That's okay. What matters is listening to your body without judgment. Daily masturbation isn't a requirement, but if it feels good and supports your well-being, then it's a valuable tool. One that's completely within your control. And speaking of control, let's talk about bladder health. Believe it or not, there's a connection here too. Ejaculation causes rhythmic contractions in the pelvic floor muscles, which, as we mentioned earlier, play a key role in supporting the bladder. These contractions act like a natural workout, helping keep those muscles strong. And when those muscles are strong, you may experience fewer issues like leakage, urgency, or that frustrating feeling of incomplete emptying. This becomes especially important if you're someone who's been told you have an enlarged prostate. While masturbation isn't a cure, it may offer relief and help keep things from getting worse. It's a proactive step, a small, consistent effort that can make your daily life a little more comfortable. So, as we reflect on everything so far, here's what I want you to take away. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's still capable of pleasure, release, connection, and healing. Daily masturbation isn't a secret shame or a sign of immaturity. It's a simple act of self-care that supports your prostate, your hormones, your stress levels, your circulation, and your emotional health. And the best part? You don't need a prescription, a fancy device, or anyone's permission. You just need the willingness to treat yourself with the same kindness, curiosity, and respect you've offered others for so many years. And if there's one thing that gets better with age, it's the wisdom to know that self-care isn't selfish. It's essential. That wisdom is exactly what makes this stage of life so rich. You've lived, you've learned, and now you get to apply that knowledge to take even better care of yourself. That includes paying attention to the signals your body gives you, and not brushing them off like we sometimes did when we were younger. Let's go a little deeper into something many men overlook: the emotional impact of staying sexually active. When we talk about masturbation and prostate health, it's easy to focus only on the physical side: reduced cancer risk, better circulation, improved bladder control. But the emotional side is just as real. Pleasure, intimacy, and even sexual release are strongly tied to how connected we feel to ourselves and to life itself. And feeling connected is one of the best antidotes to isolation, especially as we get older. You see, it's not just about sex. It's about staying in touch with who you are. It's about saying, I may be older, but I'm not invisible. I still feel. I still want. I still matter. That's powerful. That's what gives you the motivation to keep showing up for your health, to stay active, to eat better, to enjoy life more deeply. When you recognize that your needs, physical, emotional, sexual, are still valid, you unlock a sense of vitality that no age can take away. And that brings us to something many people never talk about: confidence. Yes, confidence. Feeling secure in your body, your abilities, your desires, it all feeds into your sense of self-worth. And for a lot of men, especially after 60, that confidence can take a hit. Maybe you've gained a little weight, or your body doesn't work exactly like it used to. Maybe you've had surgery, lost a partner, or faced a health scare. That can shake your sense of masculinity. But here's the truth: your worth was never tied to performance or perfection. Taking time to connect with yourself, to understand your body's rhythms, and to give yourself permission to feel pleasure, it reinforces that you are still whole, still capable, and still deserving of care. Daily masturbation can be a quiet, private act of reclaiming that confidence. No pressure, no expectations, just you and your body, working together instead of against each other. Now, for those wondering, isn't it weird to still be thinking about sex at my age? I want to say this clearly. No, it's not weird. It's human. In fact, some studies show that men who remain sexually active into their later years also tend to be more mentally sharp. That's right. Sexual wellness has been linked to cognitive health. It's not magic, of course, but it speaks to the idea that staying engaged with your body also helps keep your mind alert and alive. Plus, when you feel good physically, you're more likely to stay socially active, more likely to exercise, and more likely to pursue hobbies and passions. It's all connected. Health is never just one thing. It's a web of choices and experiences that reinforce each other. And masturbation, while often overlooked, can be one of those threads that strengthens the whole. So where do we go from here? Start by getting comfortable with the idea that your needs don't expire. If daily masturbation brings you comfort, reduces stress, improves sleep, or helps with prostate health, embrace it. There's no need to feel ashamed or guilty. You're taking care of yourself, and that deserves respect. If you're unsure where to begin, just start with curiosity. Give yourself permission to explore without expectation. There's no right way, no stopwatch, no goal to hit. It's about tuning in, being present, and letting your body guide the process. And if you've been feeling disconnected from your body, or haven't had the desire in a while, don't worry. Desire isn't a switch, it's more like a fire. Sometimes it burns low, but with a little attention and care, it can always be rekindled. And if you're in a relationship, this can actually open up conversations with your partner too. You'd be surprised how many older couples rediscover intimacy once they drop the pressure to perform and start focusing more on connection. Masturbation can even be part of that connection, whether you share the experience or just talk openly about your needs. It's never too late to grow closer. By now you've heard a lot. How daily masturbation can help support your prostate, ease stress, boost hormones, maintain bladder health, and nourish emotional well-being. But if there's one message I hope you take away, it's this. You are not past your prime. You are not broken. You are not too old for desire, pleasure, or personal growth. You are in a new season, and that season can be just as full, rich, and rewarding as any that came before. Small, consistent acts of self-care, whether it's a walk, a healthy meal, or a moment of private pleasure, can add up to big improvements in how you feel each day. And feeling good is what makes life worth living. So go ahead, give yourself permission to live fully. Don't wait for someone else to tell you it's okay. Your body is already telling you. It wants to move. It wants to feel. It wants to heal. And so do you. Let that be your starting point.